In recent weeks, an information landscape has been forming around Tesla and Elon Musk that increasingly resembles preparation for one of the largest technological launches in human history. Several authoritative publications at once, including Reuters, Bloomberg, and the Wall Street Journal, have begun publishing materials citing sources within the company and its contractors, indicating that Tesla may sharply accelerate the timeline for bringing its humanoid robot Tesla Optimus to the mass market. And while until recently even within the industry it was believed that this was a 2027 horizon, insiders are now talking about a much more aggressive scenario, launching production of hundreds of thousands of robots already this year, with a subsequent ramp-up to millions of units over the next 2 to 3 years. According to sources close to component suppliers, Tesla in recent months has sharply increased purchases of servo drives, sensor systems, and computing modules used in robots. Some analysts link this to preparations for a new version of Optimus, which is allegedly to be presented as early as next month. Within the company, it is unofficially referred to as a transition generation, not just a design update, but essentially a new architecture, bringing the robot closer to full autonomy in the real world. Particular attention is drawn to the fact that this is not about laboratory prototypes, but about systems that are initially designed for mass production. Sources claim that Tesla is using the same approach it previously applied in automobiles, first creating a product capable of functioning, albeit with limitations, and then rapidly scaling it through continuous updates. It was precisely this approach that once allowed the company to bring millions of electric vehicles to market. And now, according to insiders, it may be applied to robots as well. But if all of this is indeed the case, then the main question arises: what will happen when millions of humanoid machines leave the confines of factories and appear in real cities? Because this is not just about a new technology, but about a potentially new form of presence on the planet. The first thing that will change is the very structure of labor. It is already known that Tesla plans to use Optimus within its gigafactories to perform tasks that require repetition, precision, and endurance. This includes assembly, transportation of goods, sorting of parts, and warehouse operations. But if production truly reaches the level of hundreds of thousands or millions of devices, it will be impossible to keep them only within Tesla. They will inevitably begin to spread to other companies and then into everyday life. And this is where things become most interesting, because unlike previous waves of automation, these machines will outwardly look like humans. They will move among people, work alongside people, and interact with people. This is no longer an industrial manipulator behind a barrier, but a full-fledged participant in the urban environment. According to estimates by analysts at Goldman Sachs, the humanoid robot market could reach hundreds of billions of dollars already in the next decade. And if Tesla is indeed the first to reach mass scale, it will effectively create a new market in which it itself becomes the dominant player. But along with this come risks, because society is not yet ready for such a number of machines that behave like humans. Already now, sociologists note that even individual robots cause anxiety, distrust, or aggression in some people. And what will happen if there are thousands of them in one city? Some experts do not rule out that the first mass appearances of Optimus in cities could be accompanied by waves of protests, especially in countries with high unemployment or social tension. People may perceive robots as a direct threat to their jobs, and in such a scenario, the emergence of spontaneous movements directed against automation is entirely possible. History already knows similar examples. During the Industrial Revolution in England, workers destroyed machines, considering them the cause of their poverty. Today, the situation may repeat itself, but in a more complex form. Robots may become targets of vandalism, symbols of technological inequality. At the same time, the opposite scenario cannot be ruled out. For part of society, robots may become a symbol of progress, convenience, and a new standard of living. Already now, the idea is being discussed that in the future, every person may have their own robot assistant. It will be able to perform household tasks, help at work, care for the elderly, and educate children. The question of price plays a key role here. According to preliminary estimates, the cost of one Tesla Optimus in mass production may range from $20,000 to $30,000. But if Tesla manages to reduce the cost to the level of $10,000 to $15,000, the market could explode, because in that case, the robot would become accessible to millions of families. However, along with accessibility comes a new level of dependence. People will begin to rely on machines in everyday life, and this will change not only the economy, but also the psychology of society. Researchers are already saying that interaction with AI can change human behavior, reduce independence, or, on the contrary, enhance capabilities. A separate issue is safety. If millions of robots appear in cities, even a minimal percentage of failures could lead to thousands of incidents. This could be anything from simple navigation errors to more serious situations related to incorrect recognition of objects or people. Therefore, according to experts, the key factor will not be the technology itself as much as the system of control and regulation. Governments will be forced to create new laws defining the status of robots, their responsibility, and rules of use. Some analysts even discuss the possibility of the emergence of a new legal concept, an electronic agent that would have limited rights and obligations. This sounds like science fiction, but even 10 years ago, humanoid robots themselves seemed like fiction. And finally, the most controversial question: will robots become a new species on Earth? Formally, the answer is obvious. No, they are machines. But in practice, everything may be more complicated, because if AI systems reach a level at which they can learn, adapt, and interact with the world at a level close to human, then the boundary between tool and subject will begin to blur. Some philosophers are already saying that humanity is on the threshold of the emergence of a new form of intelligence created not by nature, but by humans. And if this happens, the consequences will be comparable to the emergence of humans themselves as a species. But for now, all this remains at the level of forecasts. Reality will be determined by how exactly Tesla implements its plans. If insiders are right, the coming months may become a turning point, because for the first time in history, this is not about demonstrating a technology, but about its mass deployment. And if millions of robots truly enter the world, it will no longer be an experiment. It will be a new reality in which humanity will have to redefine its place. Some experts compare this to how smartphones once changed the world. But if a smartphone is a device that a person takes out of their pocket at will, a robot is a system that is constantly nearby and observing. And this creates an entirely new level of transparency in human life. And here another potential conflict arises, because states, especially major ones, will not be able to ignore such a technology. Already now, analysts at the Wall Street Journal are discussing scenarios in which different countries begin to introduce restrictions on the use of foreign robots within their territory, fearing data leaks. This could lead to a new phase of technological fragmentation of the world, where each major power will seek to create its own analogs of humanoid systems. In such a scenario, robots cease to be just a product and become an instrument of geopolitics. Their proliferation, control over their software, access to their data, all of this may become a subject of international conflicts. And then the question will no longer be only how many robots will appear on the streets, but who they will belong to and whose interests they will represent.